Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to take a look at another Unity asset available on the Unity Asset Store. This time we're going to look at Braze Tool Belt by Braze Games, and this is a little bit different from what I normally do for two reasons. One, this is the first time that I've received a voucher for an asset. Up to this point, every asset I reviewed, I've either purchased individually, part of a package, or if it's a free asset, it's a free asset to everyone. But in the interest of transparency, I did want to let you know that I did receive a voucher for this. Second of all, this is also different from what I normally do because it's not an in-game asset that the game player would actually encounter. So it's not a 3D model or a visual effect. It is a mod for the UI itself. So this modifies the Unity editor, and then it will allow you to create a window where you can then put static functions into, and that way you can get all these disparate functions all consolidated into one nice window. So if you saw Black Widow recently, it's kind of like how Yelena had her vest, and she said it was great because you could add all these pockets to it and then put whatever you want in the pockets. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add more pockets to the vest. So as typical, if you purchase this from the store, once you do, you then go to Window, Package Manager, and then Braze Tool Belt. You click on Download and then Import. At the time of this writing, it is just under $8 USD. So it's $7.99 USD, so just under $8. So how does this work? Well, it creates a new menu, and there's actually many different mods that activate the Tools menu. But you'd click on Tools and then Braze Tool Belt, and then what you'll have are multiple tabs, and they will have these different static functions. And by the way, that is the actual criteria. It has to be a static function to work. So you would click on, say, Build Settings, and it opens the Build Setting menu. Preferences, Preferences. Project Settings, Project Settings. And while no one of these is difficult to navigate to, it's very convenient to put these all into one place. I think this could be very useful to new users. And then like spawn primitives, you don't have to go searching for this. You can just, spawn, spawn, spawn. Nice single click, you can see they spawned here. You can see them in the scene. So very convenient. And again, the more pockets, the more tools, the more valuable this is to you. And I think that's half the challenge, is just knowing what is available to you and how to get to it. And this is dockable, so you can just drag this. So you could put it, say, there. You could put it up there, wherever. Okay, so we looked at those static functions. Now we're going to look at you adding your own. So I don't actually have to close this, but I will. And what you do is you could just create a script anywhere in your project, and I called it More Pockets, because we're going to add pockets to the vest. At the top, you do need to add using Braze Tool Belt. Obviously, this would not be available until you've installed Braze. And then you just start defining your static functions. So square brackets, Braze tool, and then parentheses. Within the parentheses, if you so choose, you can put criteria here to name the tab, create an icon, excuse me, for the tool, because if you notice, some of the tools just had like a letter and the name. You could actually create a image, kind of like what they did for the spawn primitives. So we'll leave that blank for the moment, just so you can see this as it plays out. And then we would do private static void, and then the name of this. So it will be, say, print test, and then parentheses. Whoops, didn't mean to put anything in those parentheses. And then the squiggly brackets. And then this will be just debug.log, and then test. Now, obviously, this is not a static function you'd create, because who needs the debug log to say test? I'm just showing you the structure. You can then use it for whatever you choose, again, as long as it's a static function. And by the way, if you have ideas and you want to see certain ones, you can certainly reach out to the creator of this. He watches the channel, so you can either leave a comment in the video, or if you want, you can just email them directly, like any other creator on the Unity store. So if you go to the page for this, there will be contact information there. And okay, so let's save this, and then we'll take a look at our tool belt. So as you can see, we have added another pocket to the vest, and we've put in print test. So that's the exact name that we chose. And if I click on it, there we go. So again, an example purely to show the functionality. You guys will come up with stuff much better. Like I said, I personally don't use mods, so nothing really comes to mind for me, but you can definitely, like I said, as long as it's a static function, should work. Okay, so say we wanted to have a picture like this. Well, what will we do? Well, that's a two-step process. So for edit and then project settings, you'll see Braze tool belt. And what you can do is you can add the icon here. So what I already did, let's close this for a second. So plugins is the folder for Braze, and it is in, I believe, resources, editor, and then UI art. I added this image, so all the other ones are already in here. I added this. It's just a 256 by 256 PNG. I drew in Paint. So my normal disclosure, there's nothing special about this image. So it's just an image drawn in Paint. That's literally as basic as you can get. What you do, so edit, project settings, Braze tool belt, and then here you just click on plus, expand that out, and then we're going to change the name. We'll call this print icon. And I'm just going to copy that to make sure I get the spelling right. And then we're going to click on the navigator and we choose that print icon image. By doing that, I can now just reference this by name in my script and it'll know where to find it because this inherently is looking at the path. I navigated it. So that's really what you're doing here. You're creating a connection between this path and this phrase. That way, when I use this phrase, it knows this path. So if I go back into my script and up here, so first we'd give it a name. Say, actually, let's call this my pockets. So that'll be the name on the tab. And then this will be the name of the image that you want to use for that. Again, we save this. And then if we go to the tools and we go to Braze tool belt, see my pockets, and there it is, and there's the image. And then it's just for you to build onto that, adding whatever static functions you want. So I'm not going to do any more examples of that because, like I said, I'm just trying to show you the structure. You can add whatever you want. I do want to show you how to modify a few of these other settings, though. So like I mentioned, this one defaulting to 100. So let's take a look at that. So let's just navigate around and see if I can find it. There we go. So if you click on this, so this is plugins, Braze Games, tool belt, resources editor, and then the settings folder. So I'm not going to go through all these, but see how it says slide main box size is 150? I could say change this to 250. And I don't think there's a save. I believe it just saves it automatically. And then you go to Tools, Braze Tool Belt, and now 250. So like I said, it's not just adding your own tools, you also can modify the actual structure itself. And want to show you one more thing for the built-in one. So I'm just going to pause for a second. Okay, so I'm in Plugins, Braze Games, Tool Belt, Source Editor, and then Demo. And then here you have this. So this should look, if we go to the top, familiar. So This is what I was saying about how you define a tool, okay? So same formatting, so like the name and then the icon and then like additional functionality there. So what we're going to do at the bottom here, we're just going to paste. So what I did is I copied one of his and then I just made a couple changes. So by doing this, you're indicating that it's the same tab, so it's not creating a new tab, okay? This indicates that they're skipping a no image. And then actually I forgot to change this. I believe this is just pop-up text. So open the light settings. And even though I've done this never before, I was able to do it because I just simply looked at what he did and then modified it for what I was looking for. So he used editor application execute menu item, and then he gave the path in the menus. So I just modified that. So in this case, it was window and then rendering and then lighting. So sure enough, window slash rendering slash lighting. I'm just typing in what's in the menu. We save that. And then if we go back to tools, there you go. So we've added a new tool to the defaults. So I think that's about it. If you have any suggestions, like I said, he does watch the channel. He is responsive. His contact information, like any other creator, is on the Unity store. But you could leave comments in the video if you want, or you can reach out to the directly. He watches the channel. He definitely wants honest feedback. And I think that should about do it. So, as typical, if you like the video, please consider leaving a like and please consider subscribing. If you're not, only about, I think we're up to 6% now. About 6% of views come from subscribers. But like I said, this was very different from me because I normally don't look at mods for Unity itself. There's some overlap, like I said, for like the all-in-one sprite shader, but this is really the first mod that I've looked at that modifies just the editor for the purposes of organization and productivity. And I think that's about it. So I hope you found this useful, and please enjoy the rest of your day.